So is this part will only be about foster parenting. What foster parenting is, foster parenting is not just the children come into your home and you get paid for them. You have to be proactive in their life as well. It can't be from what I've heard several other social workers say to me is how some foster parents literally don't really do anything. They want the workers to do it. Take them to. Sometimes they won't even pick them up from school. That's not foster parenting. That's wrong, really, and that's kind of cruel, to be honest, because you're not proactive in their life. So foster parenting, it's very serious. It's very serious because you're molding lives. These children are coming in broken and, sometimes defeated, and, they need that care. They need, somebody to just foster them in, the right way to go. And in foster parenting, they don't necessarily always leave. Foster parenting is in a few different categories. For me, my household is all the categories. It's respite, short term, long term, and adoption. So if there are children who are coming in for short term, maybe they need to come in for 2 weeks, or maybe respite, 2, 3 days, or even emergency care is another one. So, emergency care is overnight. You have to decide what age group you want. You have to decide how you want to run your house, because it's time consuming and it does take up most of your life. It does take up most of your life, for the simple fact that when you have your own child, you can go knock on a neighbor's door and say, okay, can you watch boo 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 for 3 minutes or 3 hours while I go do this, that, and the third. But when you have a foster child, that child, everybody surrounding that child has to be approved by the state to watch that child. Has to be a known person, by the social workers who are capable of watching the child. So you cannot just decide to. Foster parenting actually originated, uh, I'm going to say maybe 60, 70, longer years ago. And it actually started in the South. And it started with black families. And so what they would do when a family member could not take care of their child, another family member stepped in and they came and lived with that family until they were able to, go on their own. And back then, of course, schooling and stuff like that wasn't really afforded to, the people in the South. So, until they grew up, white families would do was when their children, they could not care for their children, they sold their children to farm, to work on farms and, sharecroppers, so to speak, stuff like that. That's how that became. And those children, 6, 7, 8, 9, and on up, had to work for every meal. And so they kind of adapted through what the black culture was doing. And it's very inspirational. So they started, what the black culture was doing, and they kind of mimicked that, and that's how it started. And then it just progressed, and evolved. You know, uh, there was obviously no pension, no help back then. So as a whole, they did what they had to do for each other. Whereas, you know, once the child labor laws kicked in, then it started to be, you can no longer sell your child to work on a farm. So that's how it started. And again, I said it's pretty inspirational. I grew up with foster parenting around me. Aunts and cousins uh, were foster kids and have had foster kids. So, and then, a lady that I used to go to church with and used to live next door to, she was also a minister. Coincidentally, not knowing back then how much of an influence she had on me, that's really awesome. I don't know if I will have 200 by the time I stop. It's easy because in 1 year I had five. My first full year I had five children. Uh, Babies 3 and 5 are still with me, and there was one in the middle. Sometimes it's exhausting. I'm not going to tell you, you know, oh, it's so easy and, you can do this and it's so much fun and you never get tired of it because, you suffer a loss too when you bring a child into your home. You really kind of like, I call it kangaroo love the child type thing. You hold the child so close, and where you go, that child goes, and you're up all night with this child, and then you get the phone call that you have to pack the child up and you have to have that child ready by the next morning. So what you can do to get started is Google, I'm pretty sure it's all called DHS. No matter where you are in the world, it's the Department of Human Services. Contact your local Department of Human Services and they will direct you to which foster care agency is best for you in your county, in your area. Because you got to think logically. Do you want to carry a diaper bag everywhere you go? Be well aware. 2-year-olds. Do you want to run around with a pull up in one hand and a potty in the other hand, chasing the child around? If you're looking for money compensation wise, don't even try. Don't even try because seriously, you're not going to get that much at all. You're not going to get that much at all. So let's go on to who this child is, what's his background, and that's another thing. They do not tell you these children's background. However, I was pre-warned that this child suffered a loss. What kind of loss are you talking about? Are you talking about a death? Are you categorizing this? Because it is a loss when the children are taken from their homes, the only thing that they knew, like my number 3, I believe she grieved, but I believe she grieved differently. I thought, she was going to wig out, flip, do whatever, but I held my hand out to her and she came right to me. She came right to me. And she was 14 months at the time. So, you're 14 months strictly with your family, and now you're here with me. And I'm thinking, stranger danger, she's going to explode. That's going to be it. She's going to toss my weave from one side of the house to across the street through the backyard. I just prepare myself for the worst. I did not prepare myself for the fact that she reached for me. However, and she never had a fit, never screamed, never did anything. She immediately started trying. And I wasn't too sure if she was trying me or if she actually got away with certain things. And if she actually got away with certain things, then she was just being herself. But, playfully, bottles just started flying. No, she was done drinking and poof, off to America, America. Some far land the bottle went. But she never exhibited outside. She never exhibited any, I want to say, any outside retractions to it. You never seen it on her. She never acted it out. She latched on to me really quickly. And when I say really quickly, I mean it got difficult to go into the dining room without her at somebody else's house. Even if she's been around them, it started to be like, and I was everywhere with her. So in 2 weeks, she got to meet a lot of people, and she knew a lot of people, and she became familiar with a lot of people. But it didn't matter who she became familiar with. If I moved, she wanted to move right along with me. And so that was one thing. But at the same time, it was kind of like her weight she never trailed down, but she kind of just slowly went up on her chart. Like slowly, maybe a pound or two every 2 months. Like slowly. But she ate everything. And she's still like that today, but now she's picking up and going on, and I think she realized that it's been a year, so but you definitely have to watch for certain things. And I do believe she suffered the loss, but like I explained to people, I think it was one of those things that was, mental. She dealt with it on the inside, and it started to wear on her on the outside. But she never dealt with it on the outside and just, was getting it over with. She would bottle it in. And that was kind of difficult to see. So that's pretty much it. And any questions, comments, concerns? This is pretty much basic. So I have a lot of editing to do, being that this video right now is about 42 minutes long. And I have to try to get 42 minutes into 10. Yeah, pray for me. You don't do that. You stick up for your family. And so for you little aunts out there who want to just be aunts and want to be cute when it's, convenient for you, and then when things hit the fan, don't go screaming, don't go crying, and don't go having a fit. You need to be proactive in your nieces and in your nephews' lives, and don't let nobody else tell you you're dumb, because at the end of the day, when it goes down, it's going to go down, and most of it's going to crash on your head if you knew about what was going on and you didn't help, or you didn't try to help.